and then she'll share with us an Author's Tea story.
Fairyland by Mia Lazar. Once there was a fairy. She wanted to explore, so she went to the beach. The beach was in Fairyland. She met another fairy, and they made a sandcastle. They put lots of pretty shells with lots of colors. One of them was a swirl shell. The fairy asked the friend where she lived, and she said, in a fairy place. And then it turned out that they were next door neighbors. It was a community. Then they went home together. They played at the friend's house. What they were playing with was Legos. Then they wanted to explore another place, so they went to China. They looked around and had fun. Then they came back to the fairy's house and played some more. The end. Okay. It's past 7 o'clock. What are you doing? Shouldn't you be in your class? I glanced up from my book and see an adult looking strangely at me. What? How could classes have started already? No, they couldn't have. I looked down at my wrist. Sure enough, my Mickey Mouse watch shows the number 7:13 in its friendly, blocky font. I'm 13 minutes late. I mumble a quick apology to the man and dash off towards the classroom. I can't believe it. I've never been late for a class before. It's only 13 minutes into my first day at my new school, and I've already messed up badly. Great. At my old school, classes started at 9 a.m., and there were only 4 classrooms. I used to have enough time to read before school started. But everything's different at the high school. The building is huge, and there's a maze of hallways, classrooms, and older people. Everything's a blur as I run into my classroom and set down my backpack with a thud by my desk. I glance around to see if anyone noticed my late arrival. Nobody's eyes meet mine. Instead, they're all looking towards the front of the classroom where a student is speaking. There's so many people. I recognize the person next to me as Kayla, one of my friends from 8th grade. Wait a second, Kayla's here? I thought she moved back to New York last summer. Kayla, I say. So you didn't move back to New York after all. I'm so glad you're in my class. Author's Tea has already started. Where were you? You're speaking next, Kayla whispers to me. The teacher shushes us and gives me a stern look. Oops, 2 mistakes in 30 seconds. That must be a record or something. Kayla shrugs and hands me a purple program that says Author's Tea on the front of it. Funny, I thought Author's Tea was just a Blacksburg New School thing. I didn't even write a story. Was I supposed to have written a story? I look around at all the other students. They're all listening intently to the student at the front of the room. He looks tall and unshaven. I guess I never realized how old high schoolers are. One of them, a couple of rows away from me, already has gray hair, just like my grandmother. The high schooler turns towards me, and then I realize that she is my grandmother. Grandma waves and turns her attention back to the student who's speaking. I can't believe we're supposed to memorize our stories this year, Kayla whispers to me. Mine was 50 pages long, and it took me forever. I can't believe I forgot to write a story. What am I going to say to the teacher? I can't really use the dog ate my homework excuse when I don't have a dog. I know. I'll say that my little sister ate my homework. But that wouldn't work because my sister's 11 years old now, and even though she's a prankster, she has no interest in eating homework. What was I thinking? I can't believe my first day at the high school is going this badly. I feel like crying, but then I remind myself that's not a very high schoolerish thing to do. Lucy Albert, please come up and recite your story, the teacher calls out to the class. I don't move. Maybe he'll just forget about me if I don't respond. I sink down in my seat. Lucy Albert, the teacher says again. I think she's nervous, Mr. Agaby, Kayla says. I glare at her. This day is already horrible. She didn't have to embarrass me in front of everyone, including my grandmother. With my head down, I make my way towards the front of the classroom. Everyone is watching me. I close my eyes, focusing on not fainting. I take a couple deep breaths and prepare myself to make up a story or create excuses or anything to get out of here. I try to look up a waiting audience, but my eyelids are stuck together as if they were super glued shut. Why can't I open my eyes? I'm sorry, I mumble. I just can't seem to open my eyes today. You've memorized your story, haven't you? Just do it with your eyes closed. Nobody will even notice. The teacher seems to be speaking to me from very far away. How can I memorize my story if I didn't even write it? I stand where I am, unable to walk forward in case I run into anything, and everyone is laughing. Finally, I pry open my eyes and end up staring at the ceiling of my bedroom. Lucy, it's 7 o'clock already. Why aren't you leaving for school? My mom calls up the stairs to me.